All right. Now, the currency in circulation in the country jumped by 701.4 trillion naira in 1 month to hit 1.6 trillion naira in March 2023 after the Central Bank of Nigeria reversed its policy on the Naira redesign. Now, according to the Central Bank of Nigeria, currency in circulation is defined as currency outside the votes of the central bank. That is, all legal tender currencies in the hands of the public and in the votes of the deposit money banks. The currency in circulation in the country had dipped by a 235.03% to 982.09 billion naira at the end of February from 3.29 trillion naira at the end of October 2022. Now, on the back of the Naira redesign policy of the CBN, figures, however, obtained from the CBN reveal that 2.3 trillion naira was mopped up from circulation during the period under review. The hardest hit by the policy had been the most vulnerable members of the population, which is the poor, the unbanked, and the rural dwellers. It would be recalled that the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Gordon Emefiele, had in October 2022 announced plans to redesign the old 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1000 naira notes. Credits is due to August and Co., a research firm that undertook the study to unearth these facts. Is more money better than less money in circulation?
Right, so that's the question we're asking.
Exactly. Yeah. A major question. Is more money better than less money in circulation? Now, I have John Akirile, who is an entrepreneur. Basically, he is within the right profile to help us diverse this particular, would I say, question that we intend to have answers to. John, how are you?
Well, John, we must thank you for staying with us. Yes, we're holding you for the whole day today. All right, so yeah.
Yeah, so precisely. The question is more money better than less money because we now have more money in circulation? Remember that during the cash crunch, when the Naira redesign policy was introduced, there was a lot of issues concerning that. Less money was in circulation, people were not happy, there was disgruntled and whatnot. Now we now have more money in circulation. The question is that better?
Well, I think with more money in circulation, you hear less of people groaning, and you hear less of businesses complaining.
Okay.
You hear less of on banks. You hear less of crowd at the bar. You hear less of shouting or quarreling, at the public transport section. You hear less of internal wrangling when it comes to payment of NEPA bill and other utility bills in the house. Why? Because most people will tell you they can't access cash, they can't make transfer, and so we have few money or little money in circulation. But now that you have more money shows that you are actually bringing in grease or oil into the engine of the economy. And so there is a bit of smooth running, and that's why you see that some of this tension, move down drastically, and you hear less of all the noise that we've been hearing before now. Even though we have more money in circulation, it is still, the onus is still on our institutions, to still check and balance. There must be a check and balance. We shouldn't have too much money in circulation, all right? And then there should be a mechanism that can, give us that equilibrium so that we can have a balanced system of economy.
Now, the mechanism that was supposed to give us an equilibrium was the policy, the redesigning policy, the cash of the government. Yeah. Now, that was supposed to mop up excess money in circulation because we saw a situation whereby, the banks, the CBN did not have as much money as what individuals had. And we saw what happened when people were asked to bring money back to the coffers of the CBN. Millions of naira in bags, and we do know that in other parts of the world, people don't carry cash around like that. So money in circulation is tantamount to inflation. Now, the CBN tried to do that, albeit it was the time frame was short. You don't do that within 90 days. It was, was a short time. But now we've seen a situation where we are going back to the things that we're trying to cure. Issues of kidnappers and bandits being paid ransom. We were hoping that if money was mopped up and people did a lot more transfers, a lot more e-banking, it will be easy to trace things like crime, financial crime, and other things when they happen. Has that been defeated?
Well, it's a dicey question for me. Looking at the fact that this narrative is talking about, there's no genuineness in it, because looking at the timing is so sudden and short. I think people should be notified and, given a lot of time. Even by the time we are spending, we should have even up to 6 months, where you spend the old and the new Naira, and then by the time the old Naira note gets into the banking coffers, it does not come out again, and then you cannot inject more of the new notes. But the point is this: it's just that Nigeria is now a country that is I don't even know the word to use to describe the country. This is it. How can an individual have billions of Naira in the house? The point is, where did he get the money from? Did he print this money by himself? The answer is no. So it means that the money must have come from the bank to this individual, and the withdrawal is not just once; it's repeated.
Don't forget, John. Sorry to interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you. Still in this line of thought, don't forget that there are people who do business, and rather than take their monies to the bank, they keep it at home. So, I mean, it accumulates to a point where you now have bags of money, because, I mean, money is coming from people that are coming to buy from you, and then you are not taking your money to deposit in the bank, you're keeping it at home. So it just continues to accumulate in your house. But then the banks themselves will not have money to do business with.
There is any business owner who, in this time and age, would transact business and keep billions of Naira in the house. I don't think there's any business owner like that.
Are you
sure?
Think
so.
Are you sure? John, let me tell you something. During the Naira redesign, when there was issue with having cash, a lot of persons stopped trusting the banking system. In fact, the outcry was because you cannot use your money to go to, you deposited your money at the bank. For you to have access to your money became difficult. Literally, it seems like you're begging the bank. And most times your transactions just go somewhere whereby it's not reverted back. It's not reverted to you. Now imagine your transfers. So it's almost like it's in limbo. You ask the bank tells you it's not their fault, it's from the recipient bank, and so you should call their attention to it to revert the money. But now a lot of persons, realizing not wanting to go through all that hurdle, decide to keep their money. So whenever they need access to go about their transaction, to make whatever deliveries they need to make with money, they just go to wherever it is they kept it and use it. A lot of Nigerians removed most of their monies from the bank when the opportunity came, and then started keeping their monies at home. So a lot of business owners actually keep money in the house. So I want to dispute you when you made that statement that you don't think there's any business owner keeping money in the house.
I said in a sane clan. Nigeria is not a sane clan, all right? And that is because people do not trust the bank. Can you just imagine that Nigerians do not trust the banking system? It is that bad. And that is why I will always agitate that our banking system must up their game. Okay? If you are saying we are coming with Naira redesign, there are some stakeholders that must be on the table for your discussions. Some stakeholders must be on the table. Your telcos must be on the table of discussion, because they are the ones that will be giving you the network for you to do your online and e-banking. You are talking of cashless policy. Mind you, there was cashless policy before now. So cashless policy the new Naira redesign. So if cashless policy was a goal and it was achieved, we shouldn't have issues with this Naira redesign. But cashless policy, we are even struggling with that. And now people don't even trust the banking system. And now they keep money in the house. Well, all of that is something that should is a red flag and is an indicative index that the banking system should go back, sit down, and look at how Nigerians can trust them again. And they need to come out and tell Nigerians this is what we are going to do for you better, and now you can trust us so that people can bring in all of these funds into the banking system, and then it can be regulated, and then we can move in that manner. Keeping such huge amount of money in the house, for me, it's a no-no. And there's no sane person in a sane clan that will keep such amount of money, even more than that of the bank, in the house. No. Okay? And so people should I know that they are having issues now presently, and that's why we have no. So when people defraud you of your money, there's nobody to go to. When you go make transfer from your bank to another bank and the money is hanging somewhere, and they tell you they don't know how where the money is going to, you stand, you stand surprised that how come my bank does not know where my money is going to, and I move money from point A to point B, and you cannot tell me where the money is. That shows you that there's a kind of security on the part of the bankers or the banking system in the country, and that's why people are not trusting the banking system. But when it comes to money, we don't even need to carry more money around. All you need is you can have money in the bank, but have a system that works. So when you want to make your transfer can go easily. You want to do your e-banking, you can do all of that on your phone. You want to pay for your utility bills, you can do that on your phone.
Furthermore, do you think that policy encouraged the whole cash lights, cash light initiative that the CBN governor actually wanted to implement? You recall that the Naira Redesign was an avenue through which Nigerians will begin to incorporate more e-transactions rather than having to do transactions with physical cash. And if you're going to do transaction with physical cash, there will definitely be some, monies on top, which of course, if you don't want to pay that extra money, it's important for you to incorporate e-transaction. But then the idea that the CBN policy was supposed to introduce, do you think it reneged? Do you think it worked? Because right now, if you have a lot of persons not trusting the banking system, keeping their monies at home and no longer trusting how the bank works, did that encourage a cash-light society?
I think the policy did not work. All right. And it's because of the perspective of people, how people perceive the policy to be. People felt it was more of an electioneering thing, okay? And so they never saw the good in the policy. People thought once election is gone, the policy is gone with the election, okay? But we should think about it, that it's something that is good for us and our system. Now, let me ask you one question. People who before now, during the cash crunch period, who will tell you you can make transfer, all right? Now will tell you, I don't take transfer again, I want cash. Why? Because they feel a bit relieved that now banks are taking the old notes, people can spend the old notes. The old notes is still a legal tender till December, and they relax. Okay? So those using their POS before now are not using the POS again. Do you understand? Yeah. So those are little fact. Yes. This policy did not achieve the aim that it was postulated for.
Now, truly, I will agree with you that the policy was good, the initiative was good, but the implementation was faulty. And a lot of people have come out to complain about the faulty nature of the implementation of the policy. Now, people resorted to e-transfers, and we also know that e-transfers has its own problem, network issues, all right? And the load on the banks made it even worse. Now, not too long ago, we had a report that about 4-point-something trillion naira is locked in failed transactions.
And bank charges too.
And bank charges. And I was going to talk about the charges, but time is fast running out. The charges are something else entirely. They are increasingly high. And for each transaction, for each e-transaction you do, there is a charge. That just depletes. Imagine someone having 2,000 naira, and you want to make a transaction, you want to send 1,000 naira to someone, so you can keep the 1,000 naira left, and then you do your transaction, and 26 naira is deducted from the 1,000 naira
and then forget that is left. Every month they do a deduction of maintenance on your debit card.
Maintenance. Shouldn't that be addressed? That's on one side. All right. Now, yes, shouldn't that be addressed so that people will not, spend so much money trying to use money?
That's nice.
And because the result now is people just go to the banking hall which is what we're trying to avoid initially. People go to the banking hall, withdraw their money in bulk, and then keep it at home and just, spend it cash. That's why we have a lot more money in cash. So they don't have to
visit the bank as often.
Exactly, and so they don't also have to do e-transfers because those ones are hanging.
And that's why I said to you that the banking system must come to a meeting with the telcos. Okay? Now this is it. If the banking system is giving you some charges and they are charging you for transactions, okay, don't forget that they also have maintenance on their mobile apps. Okay? If you are using USSD, it is in conjunction with the telcos and they have their own charges. Okay? Now, why should they sit down with the telcos? Is to see how you can harmonize all of these charges into single charge. Okay? And this charge, because we have multiple charges that we get. You make transfer, you get your charges, you get your SMS charges, you get your email charges, you get your interbank transfer charges, even your intra-bank charges.
Wow.
Charges are way too many. And Nigerians are like, it's better for me to go into the banking system, banking hall, withdraw my physical cash, and pay you physical cash, where there will be no charges. All right? So they should look at how we can have just a single charge. If you are saying you are charging people for debit card maintenance, for God's sake, your debit card is been with you for how long? And you are being charged maintenance fee every month.
Every month.
Are you telling me that the card is being produced every month? Or the maintenance on the mobile app is every month and you charge all of. So these are things that the banking sector should also look like, should sit down and look at. Don't see Nigeria as an milk money out of Nigerians, even when there's no money with Nigerians.
All right.
Okay? But look for a way to them solutions that can, make life better for them, and then you can have more people subscribe. Another thing again is look for upgrade. Make sure that your app is always up to date and that you are ready for the chunk of people that will come into internet banking so that you don't have breakdown mobile apps or your apps keep shutting down every now and then.
All right, then. Thank you very much, John Akirile, public affairs commentator. Thank you for being on the program. You have basically run the entire show with us today, and we honestly do appreciate your patience with us. Thank you once again.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
All right, then. Now we'll go on to sports. We do have some sports news, after which we'll delve into entertainment. Going straight to sports. No time to waste, really. In sports, it was a night of draws in the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League yesterday. Inter Milan and Manchester City are through to the semi-finals of the tournament. Man City played out a 1-1 draw with their Bavarian hosts Bayern Munich to end the tie 4-1 on aggregate. Now, Inter Milan played out a 3-3 draw with an aggregate scoreline of 5-3 in their favor. All right. And Pep Guardiola's side will play Real Madrid in Champions League semi-finals. Inter overcome Benfica to set up last four clash with AC Milan. All right, so that's some news for you from the world of sports. We're now going to entertainment.
Yes. Now in entertainment, remember how we do it right here in entertainment to try to unwind the entire seriousnness. That would be
oh, yes.
So we just wrap it up with something light. Okay. So if you remember in our previous edition where we talked about AY and Julius Agu claiming that at some point he called AY and he hung up, well, AY has responded. So in light of recent allegations made by his colleague Julius Agu in a recent interview, popular Nigerian comedian Ayo Maku, commonly known as AY, has spoken out in response. Now, Agu had accused AY of taking over his Easter Sunday date for his own show and hanging up on him when he called to talk to him about it during an interview with a well-known radio station a few days ago. In response to these allegations, AY took to his Instagram page to share his side of the story. According to the movie producer, Agu had requested a rescheduling of AY Live as it coincided with Agu's Laugh for Christ's Sake comedy show, which had been held on Easter Sunday for years. However, AY denied Ago's claim that he blatantly refused and hung up on him and even shared proof to support his statement. Now, if you follow AY on Instagram, you will see all the proofs that he took a snapshot of and uploaded it on his Instagram stories. In the lengthy response, the filmmaker expressed his disappointment with the accusations and threatened to take local action against Ago. He maintained that he did not intentionally hijack the date from Ago and defended himself with evidence to counter allegations.
Well, but I think bottom line is he called you.
Yes.
And you dropped his call.
Well, but he put up some evidence to say, hey, I responded to you via SMS or
saying
chat or
what?
something.
That I can't move my show.
Saying that it's not like he hung up deliberately or it was intentional.
But he didn't move his show. That's the thing. He didn't move his show. Now, I'm not going to ask him to move his show. And I'm not going to be offended with him if he did not move his show because he planned his show. All right? In as much as it coincided with his colleagues' event as well. But what stops? I mean, there is camaraderie.
Exactly.
You can get on your show and say, oh, my brother is doing an event at Moses Hall. So guys, you know, if you want to rush out, just go there and have fun with him as well. You have your people at your event already, and you're promoting your brother's event.
I think they don't want to share. They don't want to share the crowd. They don't want to share the audience.
It's the same people.
It's the same people.
It's the same people. You just
all
have
right.
to share.
Apparently, love one ting ting.
Okay.
So Adekunle Gold celebrates 10 years of magic with Simi as she clocks 35.
10 years of magic.
10 years of magic.
Right.
Before the marriage, of course, they were dating, you know.
They've been dating for 10 years.
Apparently, they've been dating all the while. That we saw, how will I make you go?
So they've been committing sin. Don't mind me, just kidding.
So, apparently, Adekunle Gold penned a heartfelt message to his wife, Simi, as she celebrated her 35th birthday. Trust me, 35 is when a woman begins to look younger. Taking to his Instagram page, he expressed gratitude to God for the past decade they had spent together and lovingly referred to her as his enchantment. His magic. Oh no, that's so lovely. In his touching message, Adekunle Gold went on to shower Simi with praise, acknowledging her numerous contributions and dubbing her as a girl of his youth. What a romantic word. His words were filled with admiration and appreciation for the woman who had captured his heart and been by his side throughout the years. He wrote, God bless the day I met you at Bogobiri 10 years ago. 10 years of being my magic. I'm grateful for you for everything that you do. Love is beautiful, man.
Love really is
Love
beautiful.
is beautiful.
And the fact that he appreciates her, appreciates all she has done for him. And you know, they've complimented each other.
That's
Yes,
very true.
they have
All right,
complimented
so
each other.
finally, this is on the international scenes between a Ghanaian musician and Drake, right? Now, Ghanaian musician Obrafour is dragging Canadian rapper Drake to court over the unauthorized use of his song. In music sampling, it's a common concept as artists borrow from the works of others to uplift their art. To legitimately borrow, one must take permission, and the absence of such permission amounts to a copyright breach, right? So Canadian musician Obrafour is suing megastar rapper Drake for the rapper's decision to sample his song without his permission. Drake sampled Obrafour's Onyo Hene remix in the Calling My Name off Drake's Honestly Nevermind album released in 2022. According to the Ghanaian legend, Drake had earlier sought permission, which was denied, but the rapper nevertheless went forward with the sampling. Copyright infringement is becoming a more common phenomenon in music as digitization is making it easier for artists to flag similarities. In Nigeria, we have also seen cases of copyright infringement, with Danny Young taking Tiwa Savage for sampling his song Ojutitiwa. Did I call that right?
Yes.
Ojutitiwa.
You tried.
All right. So
Ojutitiwa.
that's basically what we have on the entertainment scene for you right here in
Yeah,
VP
but the
this
thing
morning.
is that yes, Drake did seek the permission to use it, and he turned it down. If Drake had tweaked it a bit, if he had tweaked the sound a bit, then it would
wouldn't have
change.
been
Yes, it would change a lot of things.
infringement, yeah.
Because I remember when the camp of 50 Cent approached the camp of what's his name, Chinwe Achebe, to use the title "Things Fall Apart" for a movie, and they turned it down. Look, this title, this name is highly respected. We will not give it out for you to use for a movie. And because they turned it down, 50 Cent did something. He still brought out his movie,
but he changed.
But then he changed the title to All Things Fall Apart.
That's nice.
Instead of Things Fall Apart. And then he got away with it. But they should just find a way to have some understanding. Yeah. And,
okay.
Let us
Interestingly,
enjoy
we
great
have to
music.
wrap this particular segment of the program, or rather the show for today.
Wrapping up the show.
We're wrapping up the show for today. An interesting one it was, right?
Yeah. Most
definitely.
definitely.
My name is Esther
Interesting.
Wachuku.
And I am Moses Humphrey.
Remember to share, like, it's VOP, that is Voice of the People TV on YouTube. On Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, it's VOP TV Live. So do share and subscribe, and always tune in right here every weekday from 7 till 9 a.m.
And then we also do have other shows.
Of course.
Just follow us up on YouTube. All right. The YouTube, it's
Voice of the People TV.
Voice of the People TV on YouTube. We love you plenty.
Of course.
Bye for now.